Hello there, thanks for joining us on another fresh edition of the Middlemen of Jurors, where the entity of the masses are spoken for. Join me as I welcome my fellow jurors. Juror Evans Ufeli will be asking a cogent question that after 32 years of democracy, have the leaders of Nigeria learned anything about democratic ideals, or are they still turning a blind eye? Juror Henry Igwebuke will be talking about how Jesu Tega Onokwasa's loyalty to Tinubu's campaign was left unrewarded. Juror Olajumoke Alawode James will be talking about how Nigeria's struggles affect everyone and calls for active citizens' participation to reclaim democracy. While I, Juror Innocent Adulugba, will be asking if Senator Oshiomole airport clash with airpeace smacks of political entitlement. All these and more when we return from this quick break. Please don't go away. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. My case: Adams Oshiomole and his entitled political tribe. Political entitlement refers to a belief that politicians are unfairly or unduly deserving of advantages, benefits, or privileges in the political sphere. This is mostly manifested in various ways, including the feeling that they have a right to positions of power, preferential treatment, or the disregard of established rules or processes. Usually, most entitled politicians dismiss or ignore established rules, regulations, or procedures, believing they are above them, with the belief that they are next in line or that their turn for power is inevitable. Entitlement can undermine the principles of democratic governance by prioritizing personal interests or group benefits over the broader public good. The recent conflict between Senator Adams Oshiomole and airpeace smacks of entitlement mentality, with the senator seen via media pictures standing on the baggage conveyor belt, preventing the check-in process of other flights. He also barricaded the entrance gates and prevented access to the terminal with his security aides. While he was doing all this, he also deliberately instigated other passengers against the airline. The senator also accused the airline of extorting passengers. Meanwhile, airpeace has urged the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, FAN, to release the closed-circuit television CCTV coverage starting from the time the former Edo State Governor Adams Oshiomole entered the airport and debunked claims of extortion. The authorities said it didn't sell tickets after the closure of check-in on that flight and claimed that Senator Oshiomole lied blatantly. My verdict: it is wrong for airpeace not to give out the full dosage of customer satisfaction. But again, would Senator Adams Oshiomole react this way if he were not a senator?
To defend him quickly, I watched a 33-minute rebuttal. I think he did it on the day the video, went viral. And in that video, Oga Adams Oshiomole, 33 minutes is long for rebuttal. 5 minutes, because there are only 24 hours in a day. I have many videos to watch. He was saying that he missed his flight for Ibom Air in Lagos the night before. It was supposed to be 6:30. He got there to 6 p.m. They said they had closed 40 minutes. That Ibom Air, they are always very early. So he went to go and lodge in Marriott. He saw 2 other Ghanaians who also missed their flights. As a good Nigerian, he also booked room for them, paying 1.6 million for the 3 rooms in Marriott. And that he now bought airpeace. In fact, he checked in the night before, and they were saying, the flight is 6:30 a.m. Best to check in. So he checked in around 9 p.m. the night before. He said he got to the airport to 6. He was sure he got in 30 minutes. He said that he's sure he got in at least 6 o'clock, if not before 6. They said the doors are closed. Now the first thing they asked him, okay, have you checked in? He showed them that he checked in last night. He said that surprised them. Next thing they said, they closed the doors by 5:45. Now there was now another passenger, a lady with a child, who was saying that she woke up by her alarm by 5 a.m. and got their alert by an email that check-in was now going to close 45 before takeoff, 45 minutes before takeoff rather than 30 minutes. So he was saying you can't send people an email 1 hour to the scheduled check-in time. The flight is 6:30. Check-in was supposed to close at 6. And then he started shouting, fan, NACA, everybody who is supposed to ensure that the airline does not extort people. In that same video, he was saying most of the people affected, like him, were people who had bought their tickets online, right? And that what Airpeace was trying to do, they were still selling tickets. If you were, the flight was, I think, 146,000. If you're willing to pay 245 or something, they would put you on that same flight. So those of you who have bought cheap tickets online and you do not come in early to check in, they normally would now sell, because they don't want to go half full anyway. They normally would now say, oh, check-in has stopped at this hour. But people who are now coming that morning, they say, oh, we have a flight on ground. You can, if you are willing to pay. Okay. Now this has happened to me, same Airpeace. My flight was for 8 a.m. I got in at 8 a.m.
You got to
they say the flight had closed. The flight was still on ground. They say check-in has stopped. But I realized that what happened is those of us who didn't come in early enough, our seats had been sold. Because they now say, oh yeah, my own flight, I had booked it. Refunded? No, I had booked. I had a conference in Abuja the day after. If it's Airpeace I'm going by, me, I will buy my flight the day before, because they can cancel anytime. I've been stuck in the same Abuja airport for 9 hours by this same Airpeace. Peter Obi was on my flight. He was now begging me that he has stopped fighting Nigerian businesses. Anyway, Oshiomole in that video was saying the reason he was fighting, they were willing to, once they saw former governor, senator, they were willing to check him in, sort him out. But there are other people on that flight, like the woman with child and some other people, that what he saw was extortion. You cannot move the goalposts because of 30 minutes. No, 30 minutes before your flight is when the law says that you do. If it's international flight, is 1 hour. Then 1 hour to that check-in time, you now say, oh no, check-in is now 45 minutes before. And then people who come by the normal check-in time, you now say, stop, sorry, you cannot go on this flight. But you are now selling tickets to people, emergency. If they are willing to pay more. So that's why he fought, that he had to become an emergency comrade and everything. So those are the two sides. Whatever you make of his story and Airpeace's story is now left to you.
I think that we have a lot of problem with our regulations at the airport. It's not just the airlines. Well, the airlines can do this and get away with it because regulation is not also very tight. I mean, there are aviation rules that governs these things. You cannot change the course of things abruptly. When people have a different information, then you are acting on another information that is not well received by all parties involved. I mean, flying an airline is a contract. There's offer, acceptance, consideration, and intention to create legal relationship. When you are selling tickets, you are making an offer. Anybody who buys has accepted the offer. The money paid is the consideration. And then the receipt issued or any document issued is the intention to create legal relationship. And that is the formation of a contract under the law. So any foreign information or foreign body you introduce into what you already have as the ground rule, the airline should be penalized for that, okay? And it's good that Oshiomole raised this issue. It even became a news because Oshiomole was involved. I know how many times I have sued that particular airline, for which we settled out of court, and I was paid, properly paid. Because if I was involved in that thing, I would not even go to the media. I will go to court straight, and I will be paid again.
That's
I'm only being paid by that airline. Okay, so, but not all of us have the vials or the luxury to undertake legal proceedings and the patience to so do. So for those who cannot, cry to the media. And it is good that it's in the public glare now. I believe that the airport authority will look into the matter, investigate it proper. I don't know where the matter is right now, but they should wade into the matter and let these airlines, they shouldn't be taking people for granted. I mean, this is like, Airpeace is almost like a national carrier, except that it's a private institution. It has all the trappings of a national carrier in the absence of Nigerian Air or Nigerian Airways. So they should treat our citizens proper. You cannot be doing racketeering with airfare and all that. You want to resell. You want to make profit, stupid profit, within a very rotten system. I find it very offensive, very angry to say the least. And I think that the airport authority should do the needful, penalize the airline. Under the ICAO rule, there are certain level of fine that they should pay if they run foul of the law. Okay. And that must be meted at them. That's very important.
Okay.
So very, very true. And I think really Airpeace has been very notorious with some of these things. And they feel maybe because they are too big, and Allen Onyema equally feels invincible at this point in Nigeria, such that as much as people give complaints, he doesn't really care about some of these things. Neither does he even.
No, it's not his fault. Though.
No, let's.
It's because we are still buying their tickets.
Well, we have no choice, obviously, because right now he has the highest fleets, right, of aircraft in Nigeria.
Personally,
right?
on ground at this time.
No, he is the head.
You know, yes,
he should take responsibility.
Almost I have choice, so don't say that.
You have choice, but your choice are limited because there are routes that other airlines don't do that Airpeace does comfortably.
They even have more. They even have more flights per day. So if you miss 6 o'clock, you find 8 o'clock, you 10 o'clock. There's 1 o'clock.
Complimenting them.
No, so the reason I'm complimenting them, right, is because, like I mentioned, they kept me waiting at the airport for 9 hours. A 12 o'clock flight did not depart Abuja until 8 p.m. Peter Obi was on that flight. The year before, when I was going to Abuja, there was another politician, I think the Labour Party, he abandoned us at the airport and went to go and take another flight. So yes, what Peter Obi was saying was that the business terrain in Nigeria is difficult. They sell tickets cheaply online, right? To attract all of us who will buy tickets before our flights. But because of running costs, that's emergency extra 100,000. For instance, the flight I was talking about, I think I bought it 70,000. This was 2022. I bought it 70,000 online. By the time they were relocating or changing my flight till 5 p.m. in the evening, they said I should pay an extra 40,000. So my 70,000 naira flight became 110. This was 2022. Now that flight is 300,000. please. Everybody should just ask them. Just behave yourself, everybody.
Anyway.
Oh no, we didn't talk about Adams Oshiomole. Sorry, before we go, I know that we're running out of time. I agree. He needed to fight. He didn't need to fight that dirty. Oga, respect yourself, sir.
Well, he's still
once a comrade, always a comrade.
I beg you. He stopped other. So you're complaining about Airpeace. You now stopped other flights from taking off. Is that fair?
Well, that's activism, though.
All the other people that are paid 300,000. All the other people that are paid 300,000 to go and fly because you have a problem with the airline. You have now stopped their flight.
I have a problem with what he has done because what he has done. Yes, what he has done.
Including jumping on the baggage.
What he has done. No one else would have done that without getting reprimanded.
No.
If it was someone else, they would have called the security. He would have been.
He even said in his video that DSS arrived. I didn't finish watching that video.
They won't do.
They will now say it's comrade. Comrade, calm down now.
Okay. Let's believe that there are some expositions left or right, and I would like to add that beyond the airport CCTV, each airline in their space should have a CCTV camera. So sometimes you don't need to wait for fun to come and give you.
No, it was Airpeace that actually released the video. He was now reacting to it because everybody was condemning him for what he did.
Okay, we keep getting better. Much of that. We will move on now on the Middlemen of Jurors, and when we do so, Juror Innocent Adulugba will be taking his case titled June 12. Have our leaders learned any lessons? Please stay with us. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to the Middlemen of Jurors. My case, June 12th. Have our leaders learned any lesson? As we mark the anniversary of June 12th, the day that represents a pivotal movement in Nigeria's democratic history, it is both essential and disheartening to reflect on whether our leaders and politicians have learned any genuine lesson from the event of June 12, 1993. Unfortunately, a cursory look at the political landscape suggests that little has changed, and the lessons of the past remain unheeded. June 12, 1993 symbolizes the triumph of Nigerians' people's will, as evidenced by the widely accepted result of that year's presidential election, which was marked by the tragic annulment. The eventful fallout of that annulment led to civil unrest, losses, and an extended period of military rule. Ideas of democracy, accountability, and the importance of upholding the people's choice were enshrined in the event surrounding these dates. However, recent actions of our leaders indicates a troubling disconnect from these foundational principles. First, the continued prevalence of electoral malpractice demonstrates an alarming disregard for democratic processes, despite the sacrifice made to achieve the democracy we currently have. Repeated cases of vote buying, intimidation, and violence during an election reveal a persistent culture of impunity among political actors. Instead of respecting the mandate of the electorate, many politicians are more focused on retaining power at any cost, echoing the darkest days of our electoral history. Moreover, the opposition to reform that aim to enhance electoral integrity further underscore the failure to learn from the past, rather than championing initiative that promotes transparency and fairness. Many leaders seem to entrench in protecting a system that benefits selective few. This reluctance to embrace change illustrates a profound lack of commitment to democratic values that the June 12 represents. Additionally, the exclusion of grassroots voice in political discourse remains a significant concern. The event of June 12 highlights the power of collective voice in shaping our nation's destiny. However, the persistent sidelining of the youth, women, and marginalized group underscores the betrayal of the very essence of democracy. Current leaders continue to operate within an elitistic framework, ignoring the lessons that inclusive governance is fundamental for national development and social cohesion. Finally, the pervasive atmosphere of political strife and regional division hints at a failure to appreciate the importance of unity in our diversity as a nation. The event of June 12 were as much about national solidarity as they are about the struggle for democratic governance. Yet present-day politicians often perpetuate divisive rhetorics and ethnic-based politics, ignoring the truth that a divided people cannot forge a resistant democracy. My verdict: as we commemorate June 12, it is evident that our leaders have yet to internalize the lessons of that significant day in our history. The continuation of electoral malpractice, resistance to essential reform, exclusion of key demographic voices, and perpetuation of divisive political interests reflects a political elite that has regrettably turned a blind eye to the valuable teachings of June 12, 1993. If we are to honor the memories of those who fought for our democracy, it is imperative that our leaders embrace the spirit of that day, learning from the past to build a more just and equitable future for all Nigerians. I shall go to Rabbi again.
All right, I think that's so very interesting. They say history is repetitive, and most times when we do not learn from history, we see it repeat itself over and over again. June 12th, 32 years, I guess, after. Leaders of today still haven't learned any lesson. In fact, the big story on Vanguard newspaper said 32 years after, democracy is worsened right now with the APC. That is a big story. In fact, if we digest it, we'll go over and over and over again. We've never had it this bad, especially with APC.
And
right
you
now,
know that the funny thing about it is that they are the proponents of that June 12 Gongo. Tinubu is because he was behind MKO. Abacha was MKO's friend. You know, Tinubu went on exile. You know, trying to enforce. They call themselves campaign for democracy. Beko, Ransom Kuti, all the activists of those days, Gani, Farahimi, you know, there are people that are in power now.
And unfortunately, the same people in power can't even address.
My worry is this: everything has a name, and a name goes with a definition. Now, the entire global understanding of democracy is standing on 5 legs. Democracy is any government that respects equality, individual liberty, popular sovereignty, respect for human rights, and the rule of law. Today, if people without weapons are on the street protesting something to make their voices heard, they are shot at. In a democracy.
Is democracy working for Africa?
Today, a governor, as we are in that season, who was elected in Party A, it means that the electorate, by majority, did not like the campaigns or manifestos of Party B to Z and chose A. A takes the electoral mandate and rejects the party in which he is voting and moves to B. And we say it is allowed in our law. You know, we say it's allowed. It is allowed in our law. Is it democratic? You know, so and then a good economy is the security of democracy. What kind of economy are we running? You know, before we start even pointing at individual, there are systemic outlook that makes some people wonder. Like today, when the news broke out that the oldest dictator in Cameroon, Paul Biya, has been toppled by a military coup.
We were not shocked.
But that's my point. Some people are now wondering, are now happy that another military coup took place rather than democracy. Of course, that's across the border in Cameroon, but across our northern border too. Same with Niger and all over. So that democratic definition is kind of not seeping in. Nigerians are almost rejecting this type of democracy we are celebrating.
Democracy is not working for Africa. And when I talked about Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, people were saying that he's not actually promoting the military dictatorship that Burkina Faso is now currently under. He's actually denigrating democracy.
So they
that's what they said. To the extent that Paul Biya, who his people have been just watching for 100 years like that, getting old and sick and putting his children and everything, now they are. Don't be shocked that this thing wiping across the west of Africa, we don't want military in Nigeria. Let's just quickly warn you people, you know. But what is pivotal for me?
It's rampaging.
Yes.
what's pivotal for me is that democracy is really not working for Africa if it is our monarchy that we know, because the monarchical system has a way that you even check the dictators. The monarch in Yoruba will say, Kabiyesi, nobody questions the Oba. There's a system in place that if he misbehaves, they will, what they call, sending him out of the village on exile. So there was a system to even check their dictatorial powers. Secondly, we agreed that the best thing that President Buhari did was naming June 12 Democracy Day. President Tinubu in the second year just cancelled the celebration. Oh yes, I agree. Don't go and use 2 billion or whatever amount of money for a jamboree that does not manifest to, good governance for the people. Thirdly, all your 5 legs of democracy. Democracy is supposed to be about the people, for the people, everything about the people. Is democracy in Africa really about the people, or the Democrats, in quotes, military civilians who are in power? We all need to decide that, because what I see is that the day the people get up, the way they say that we're all bending for them to step on us, right? The day we get up, all our dictators will fall off our backs. That's when democracy, or whichever system of government, will work in Africa. Until then, all of us are waiting in line. So Abacha can do this and get away with this. Babangida was touted for saying that he stepped aside because the powers that be at the time did not allow him stay in power, because the people at the time, like I mentioned, all the activists were saying, no, you have to put Abiola back in power. He had to step aside because the voices were louder, which is why he has now written a book and said, Abacha is the man behind me. Abacha is there that cannot defend himself. But I'm saying that he now mentioned when he saw what Abacha did to us in 5 years, wait, if Abacha could do this to you, I will not accept aside. So unless we, the people, say that no government can do this to us, and we have the power, we do not have to, we don't have to wait for 4 years to remove somebody. It's because all of us is your brother now. If we shout, you say, no, leave him. Why did you not shout when he was your own brother? So Nigerians deserve the government that we get. When we are ready, we see what our West African brothers are doing.
Well, the problem is, when would we be ready, actually? I do not know. This insult for the system and not to individuals is where I think the problem is. There's no problem with democracy, actually. I guess the problem is with the people handling democracy. Abia State is a textbook example. This man is with the Labour Party. He is doing excellently well.
God bless you.
Better than all the 5,000.
What's happening in River State? Is that also democracy? Exactly. That the president elected by the people removed a governor elected by the people. However elected he was. I beg. Let us go home.
Oh well, Juror, thanks for that case. But you take it away now.
Well, we were supposed to have a democracy, but what we have, unfortunately, is regional monarchy. And it's one that troubles the mind, because the kind of democracy we are practicing is not profit-driven. It's not yielding results. It's not delivering the dividend of democracy. And that's what makes it unfortunate. When we return, Juror Henry Ngwebike will be taking his case titled "The Unrewarded Loyalty of Jesu Tega Onokpasa." Stay tuned.
Middlemen.
Thank you for still being here. My case: the unrewarded loyalty of Jesu Tega Onokpasa, a tale of commitment and disillusionment. Jesu Tega Onokpasa, a dedicated chieftain of the All Progressive Congress (APC), played a pivotal role in President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's 2023 campaign. As a member of the APC Presidential Campaign Council and chairman of the Tinubu Media Support Group, he was a staunch advocate for Tinubu's presidency. However, post-election, Onokpasa became increasingly vocal about his discontent with the administration. He criticized the appointment of individuals he deemed unqualified, particularly those from Lagos, suggesting they lacked the competence to lead the nation effectively. He also lamented the marginalization of loyal party members who had worked tirelessly for the party's success. Unfortunately, Mr. Onokpasa saw the promised land but was not allowed entry. He was part of the chef that cooked the meal, but he was denied the pudding until his death. My verdict. Onapasa's journey underscores the complexity of political loyalty and the challenges faced by those who feel their dedication are unreciprocated. His experience serves as a poignant reminder of the need for inclusive governance and the recognition of grassroots contributions in political movements.
I don't know how I feel about this one because he's dead now. And here,
he has been a good friend.
In Africa, we don't speak about the dead.
Or middlemen.
We don't.
Solidarity.
May the soul of Jesu Tega and Okwaza rest in perfect peace. But again, in Nigeria in particular, I don't know about the rest of Africa, our political system, right? We have political parties. You know how parties are celebrations. That's how our parties are. They're pretty much platforms for everybody to get to the national cake. People working for Juror Innocent to be president are not interested in good governance. So they're interested in that is my party man, is my friend, my brother. When he gets into power, I'm going to get an appointment. To the extent that when any president is appointing credible Nigerians, right, to do something, Nigerians will say, but he criticized you last year, but he didn't work for your party, this, that. I've seen it happen several times from President Buhari to President Tinubu. He's who worked for the party, even if the person is very useless, a round peg in a very square hole. As far as just put me there, I will squeeze myself in. That's what our political parties are about. Hence, when Jesu Tega Onokwaza was being asked questions about President Tinubu's policies after he got into power, he was accusing the journalist of being sentimental and sensitized. When hunger reached his house 2 years after, he so rest ill. They said he was sick because he was 49. Yes. I don't think hunger would have killed anybody at that age, right? But when hunger reached his house, he said, I don't know what he's doing there. We put him there. We will take him out. Unfortunately, death has now taken him out.
It is really unfortunate that Onokwaza was not remembered after all he did. But that's also a metaphor for the larger society.
Very true.
You and I, none of us are ever remembered. When our leaders clinch power, they only remember us when they want to contest election. Now, Onokwaza, unfortunately, though a member of the elite class who is supposed to dine and wine with them, he only discovered lately before his demise that the government had no interest of anybody at heart, including those who work for the government. So his cry before his demise was a genuine one. And then he had vowed that in the coming election, he will make sure that since they put him there, they know how to remove him. And that was exactly what he's going to do. But he has been taken away by the cold hand of death, unfortunately so. I also know that there are so many people who are also disenchanted. There's one of the this that resigned, one of the aides of Tinubu that resigned last week. One of his aide on youth and something, I can't remember that. I had an interview with Agba Jalingo on Arise. He just resigned last week too. So there's a lot of discontent, okay? And this government, the Tinubu itself, does not really care about who is leaving, as much as a lot of people are coming in. And collectively, I believe that if the opposition play their cards very well, and if they can come together, even though they're having a lot of difficulties, if they can pull themselves together properly, they should be able to stop him from the second term. Because this man cannot govern. The only thing he knows how to do is politics.
That's all. Full stop.
That is why he spent the first 2 years in politicking. The second 2 years will also be politics. If he ever comes back, he will start the politics of succession. He will never govern. He cannot govern. So we have to do something very critical to stop him at this first time. That's my take.
Well, I think that it just tells us all of us are vehicles. Yeah, we are tools in the hands of those we are to please. And if you look at the sad case of Onokpasa, God rest his soul, he has been used and his need had been exhausted. It so looks that way. And a lot of people, even freshly joining the train, should or are forgetful or oblivious that they are also, I mean, today we are hearing, in quote, that disenchantment from Nasir El-Rufai.
Very true.
And so it will go round. It will go round.
Was he waiting to become the NSC?
I wouldn't know that. But like Evan says, the barrister, the opposition, for me, a big strategy should gather capacitous people who were with this government that are disenchanted. Yes, they will transfer that energy. Yes, sometimes they will transfer that energy to work well. Look at the comment from Onokpasa. If he was alive, he will give his best.
Guys, say wait. What is happening in the opposition now? They have told you this president is only known for politicking. Let me not say what I do not know, but the conspiracies, that's the right word, is that he's very ardent at doing these things where you continue fighting within yourselves. You do not know that he has put Jesus or not or Jesus Tega into your political party. You think he's disenchanted. He has come here to come and join us now. And then you will be fighting internally. No political party will be able to come up with a formidable. They will never be coordinated with a formidable opposition. When elections come, people now say, why you cannot even lead your political party? Exactly. You want to now come and lead the country. They say, well, look, the devil we know. Let's just allow him finish his 8 years old because you people cannot even coordinate yourselves. He's politicking. You're talking to somebody who is a master at the craft of politicking. Yeah. Okay,
it is difficult.
Let them just all of them be
but
going
it is not
to.
Impossible.
I agree. Undume last week was saying to the president that remember President Jonathan had 22 PDP governors and he still lost to President Buhari in 2019. Do you think all the governors moving into APC now is because they love you? They don't love you. They don't love Nigerians. It's because they want to align with the power at the center. But that does not mean that you will still not lose elections if the people are not happy with you. The power belongs to the people. We should continue to tell ourselves that. And that if I do not sell my vote, and we put in credible candidates, not just my brother, because my brother will give me contract.
And INEC is.
Jesus Tega thought he was working for his brother.
It was a vehicle that was abandoned.
Please, let's just do the right thing in 2027 and subsequent elections.
It's actually sad, very sad. While we talk about all of these things, major opinion leaders like Shegu Showomi, whom we all thought was equally for the people, on an interview, actually disappointed everyone when he was saying that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is, well, he's doing well, he has balanced all that he hasn't done before, that he has a fine brain and all of that. So these are some of those things.
Does he like corn?
You know, so it's actually very sad, but that's the reality.
Shegu Showomi is in the transfer market.
Does he like corn? Does he like roasted corn?
So very soon he will plug himself to the center.
Yes.
Does he like popcorn or roasted corn?
Okay. All right. When we return, Juror Olajumoke Alawode James will be taking her case titled Nigeria Happens to the Best of Us. It's still the Middleman. Please don't go anywhere.
Welcome back. It is still the Middleman and my jurors are still here. My case, Nigeria happens to the best of us. In the news this week, Senators Adams Oshiomole and the airpiece go into fisticuffs. If you saw the video of Senator Adams Oshiomole explaining what happened to him at the Lagos airport recently, you will know that Nigeria happened to him like it happens to the rest of us. Comrade Adams explained how he got to the airport 30 minutes before his flight on Ibom Air the evening before, and they told him he was late for his flight. He didn't argue nor fight them. He just went to book a hotel close to the airport to spend his night. But the next morning, with the airpiece, the same thing happened. And this time, former governor Oshiomole fought. He claims he was fighting for the masses, women with children who had been locked out of their flights like him. But this is what happens to the average Nigerian every day. Politicians with private jets cannot relate. Nigeria happened to Oshiomole. A Nigerian journalist claims to know that Daddy Atta, a Kaduna-based journalist who went missing June 2, 2019, is dead. If this is true, Nigeria happened to Daddy Atta, a well-known government critic. Tunde Onakoya was just busy selling his chess pieces and won at the chess marathon at the United Nations. He went to sell his chessboard at the presidency and show his Guinness Book of World Records certificate to the president. And then Nigeria happened to him. People criticized him for going to President Tinubu, the same person responsible for children from the slums, that he's trying to help. How do you explain to the world that regardless of who the president is, patriotism is respecting your president's invitation? Nigeria happened to Tunde Onakoya. In 2 years, President Tinubu has just renamed infrastructure built by other presidents after himself, commissioned less than 30 kilometers of the Lagos-Calabar highway, and renovated the International Conference Center Abuja with 39 billion. That conference center was built with 240 million by President Buhari in 1991. Here's my verdict. Regardless of who you are, Nigeria happens to the best of us. President Tinubu cancelled Democracy Day celebrations this year. People claimed he didn't want to fall like he did last year. Nigeria happened to Democracy Day. If we do not take control of our elections, if we do not take charge of our democracy, we will continue to happen to Nigeria as Nigeria happens to us. Citizen monitors launched on June 12. Register to be an observer or volunteer and send in elections results from your polling unit so we can take Nigeria forward, starting with getting the right people in power. Nigeria will succeed.
Very true. I just sincerely hope that President is not envious of his boss, Moshood Abiola, for abruptly cancelling the Democracy Day, for not doing anything about it, or for not even speaking so much about it. You know, the president is all about himself. You know, I just hope that that
President Tinubu in the mud. That's a very low blow.
Yeah.
Juror Henry.
No, but it's,
but he celebrated it last year now.
But this
Did
year,
they give
what
a
happened?
speech today?
What happened?
This is a democracy
This is
day,
equally democracy.
so there will be a presidential speech, even if.
Look, our own president has given us speech. We are not waiting for the other president.
It's actually obvious that is, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a textbook example of what we wouldn't wish from any leader in Nigeria. Not now, not tomorrow, not in the future. Because with the way it is going now, renaming everything literally after him, a time would come, even if possible, one of the airports might be renamed to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Are you sure not all of them?
Already
we have one in Niger.
In his days as governor, the Lagos Assembly quarters is already Tinubu quarters, just at outside.
There's hardly anything in Lagos that is not named after him.
So, on your verdict, you advocated for Nigerians to put the right people in power.
Yes, sir.
That is where the challenge for Nigerian masses exists. Where political parties throw up people of their choice, not people of the masses' choice. It is that final person as a candidate that the masses are left to vote for.
Very true.
You know.
Choosing between the devil and the devil.
Yes, and sometimes you look at a party, how much do they sell their form?
True. Another angle to it.
When you have that money, is it form you will buy?
True. Another angle to it.
So having the right people in power in this country
it starts with the political parties throwing up the right people.
It's a difficult possibility. And sorry, just let me drop this thought. Sometimes you think, Babatunde Raji Fashola was a good guy. When is he running? In Nigeria, it's gerontocracy, ruled by the old. Fashola may, as we speak, even be on queue. And naming him, there may be other people. Such that when it is his turn, he will be senile.
70 and 75.
And if he leaves the APC now to run in any party, he is disloyal.
Very true.
So this getting the... I'm just naming...
Democracy is not working for Africa.
Barrister, you want to wade in?
Nigeria is happening to all of us all. You just cannot escape the bullets as long as you subscribe to the ideals and the political culture of the Nigerian state. You cannot escape the bullet, because one way or the other, the policies are far-reaching. Okay? It is even better in the city, in the village here where I am. I'm in a farm, actually. The cost of living is beyond what is bearable. It's incredible here. Okay? So the cost of our democracy, in fact, maybe you will need not just the blood of animals, but the blood of higher creatures to even stay alive in a country like Nigeria. So it's happening to all of us. Or even Nigeria has happened to democracy. Like Moke said. It has broken democracy. So we don't even know what we are practicing any longer. We're just living at the mercy of Nigeria, happening to all of us. I mean, the last thing you can think about is the 4E at this point. Okay? If you ask those who look at Jason Opasa,
Nigeria happened to him,
looking chubby. Okay?
In 2023.
While he was campaigning for this government, the government got into power, the man became resolution. Okay? And along the line lost his life. It just tells you that this is a very bad equation. It's a very bad equation. Those who will survive these times may never die again. If you survive the times now, you may never die again.
Because rapture.
We just pray that, much more than prayer, we need to work to stop this man. If we don't, you see this thing we're saying Nigeria is happening to us. We need deeper adjective to qualify what exactly is happening to us in the future.
Because sincerely, I feel it is no longer a case of hoping that the south of Nigeria would finish its term, its 2 terms, like it has been, done. I think there is an urgent need to stop this man. I don't even care if it goes to the north again, okay? But let it go to the right person in the north, if it's possible. I'm not saying.
Okay,
that,
I hear what you mean. So credibility, right? Somebody who is competent at being president over region.
Exactly.
I agree.
Exactly.
I absolutely agree.
Very, very true.
And that's where we draw a wrap on our conversations today on the Middlemen of Jurors. I want to say a very big thank you to all of our jurors in-house and the juror from Rabbi who is in the village, Juror Evans Ufeli. Thank you. And the conversations do not end with us. Please drop your comments across all of our social media handles at the Enterprise TV 7. Our website is www.enterprisetvnews.com. Till we come your way next time, enjoy the uncelebrated June 12 Democracy Day, and
bye-bye.
Bye for now.